straighten me out here. It seemed like for years I was being schooled carefully to say African American. Now it's gone back to black. I'm fine with either. Black, is that okay?
I think it's a personal preference.
No, don't give me personal preference.
No, it really is. There are some black people, if you call them African American, they are insulted.
Because they may
not be African. But then you have Raven-Symoné, who doesn't want to be called African American at all, and she wants to be known just as black, and she's from every continent in Africa and doesn't know what she wants to be called. So I think it really is personal preference. For me, I'm black. You don't have to get so technical. You're not stepping on toes if you don't say African American.
There's a little murmuring through the audience.
I'm black.
Show of
I'm
audience.
black.
Is it black? Is it black?
It's not a negative word.
Like
black is not a negative word.
It's just for me. I need to straighten myself out. You guys got to help me. I got to start with this at least, for goodness sakes.
Well, I think it's simple, Dr. Drew. So my parents are from Nigeria, right? I grew up most of my life here in the United States. I consider myself African American.
Sure.
I still speak the language. My relatives, grandparents, everybody is back in Nigeria. So I don't have a problem saying I'm African American. What I would say to all black Americans are, you can trace your lineage back further than a lot of white people who came over during Ellis Island and are immigrants. So why should you say African American and separate yourself from a country that you seem to have more ownership than the people that are keeping you from it?
I like black American.
I've
not heard that before. I think the black, but Crystal, help me out.
I think Shagun is right. I think Vanessa's right. He's an African. He's also an American, thus he calls himself African American.
Yeah, but I'm a black Russian American.
I can't trace my lineage directly to Africa. I don't have a connection with Africa. I have a connection to Richmond, Virginia. I have a connection to Washington, D.C. I'm black. My handle says conservative black chick. People say, well, why do you call yourself that? Because I'm all three things. Not one thing defines me. Vanessa's right. She likes to be called black. But why do we have to debate this? And why can't you say what you're comfortable with? Oh, because you're white? Somehow Dr. Drew can't have an opinion about whether to call me black or AA? Come on.
Listen, I just want to...
I think he's right in asking, though, if he feels like this is a sensitive topic and he doesn't, absolutely ask.
Do we ask him if he wants to be called white or Caucasian American or Jewish American?
Because it's never been a debate. This is an actual debate. And if they're... Because people have a preference, and I think it's great that you want to ask the question.
Yeah, but here's my thing about the preference.
I like the collegiality.
Preference aside, what I always say, what do you identify to? So if you don't really identify to some specific African culture, you want to be a black American, be a black American. If you grow up in Harlem to Watts, Chicago, Jamaican American, that's the other thing. Like if you're from Haiti, Jamaica, the Bahamas, Dominican Republic, and you are black, are you now African American? Don't lump us all into a melting pot.
And Vanessa, remember when we were doing the transgender show and you were trying to get the nomenclature right there?
Oh, Lord.
Okay, well, I don't want to have to go through that either. Yes, sir.
That was rough.
First of all, Dr. Drew, you don't have to be the same color to be my brother. And I'm going to tell you that right now. Racism is an illness, and a lot of people are just simply sick. Once the world realizes that we are all just simply human beings, and then that's when a lot of things will get done.
Well, you and I have a conversation once. I think you and I had a conversation once where we were just sort of like why don't we just all just kind of chat about this? And you were like, please.
Yeah, please. You know, I like that you're transparent. You've always been that way, Dr. Drew, and I respect that, and that's why I'm here to applaud you. But I like that. I wish more people who are non-colored or non-black or non-whatever would ask more questions like, does it insult you that I would ask if you're black? I think the word black has had such a horrific history that we have claimed it as a beautiful part of our culture, and others are afraid because of what we've done to that word, what we've done to the people of that word. So yes, I understand, my brother, that it is difficult to say, should I say that? Okay. But please call me black.
Well, and you've asked, yeah, I will. And you've asked underneath that, and I think I've heard this from you before, is don't be afraid.
That's
what I like. I'm not
afraid. And don't be afraid of asking questions, because we need the dialogue.
That's right. I'm not afraid.
Well, clearly you're not afraid.
No, I'm not afraid.
I'm like the lone white guy.
You're the minority tonight.
But I find it weird when people are afraid. To me, that's weird. I understand you want to straighten it out, but why are you afraid of it? What, afraid of Rolando? Or afraid of Sergeant Dorothy? You afraid of you, sir? Am I afraid of you? Should I be afraid of you?
Dr. Drew, it's simple. President Barack Obama is African American. His beautiful wife, our First Lady, is Black American. Like this brother here, President Obama can trace his family back to Kenya.
Yeah.
Black American, it's a cultural thing. Right. If your ancestry ain't been through what the hell our people been through, you ain't like this brother ain't one of us. We're not saying We're not, but culturally, you're not one of us.
I know what you were getting at.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Your folks ain't been, Barack Obama folks ain't been through what our people went through. Michelle, that's a sister.
Right.
And we'll tell these places
Well,
about
see,
her.
that already is clarifying for me. I didn't get that distinction, Crystal. I didn't know that.
Well, but it is unique.
I get it.
Being
I get
a
it.
black American is different from being
African.
what Shagun is, which is an African American, because you cross between two worlds. And I think the young man just now eloquently talked about. We forget that Barack Obama is from Kenya. He's also an American. This is a unique perspective that he has that's not. And he was, that came up sometimes during the 2008 election, remember? When members of the Congressional Black Caucus were like, he's not black enough and all that. And I think that was divisive. And I think that while we can celebrate differences, I do think when we try to have a discussion about black culture, it's bad to kind of start down the slippery slope of black enough, you're not down, you're not my brother,
what I heard,
right?
That's not what I heard.
No, I'm not saying I heard that from the gentleman.
But I have friends from
Tunisia.
I have friends from Tunisia who tell me, Ro, I'm more African American than you. And I say, you know what, you're right. So tell me, what does that mean from your point of view? And that is, you need to have more of an appreciation in this country for the African culture, period.
I disagree. I disagree, Rolanda. Respectfully, I disagree. Like I said, and the gentleman said it perfectly. If my people haven't been through what your people have been through, and I'm here, it would be a shame for me to try and glom on or, oh, you know what, we had it really bad 400 years ago. No, we did not. What I would like to say, and this goes to all black people watching and in attendance, be proud of who you are. When you trace yourself back to Texas, to Alabama, to South Carolina, North Carolina, and what those people overcame, so Barack Obama could be a president.
That's right.
That is amazing. Okay. Me being here with my passport is great, but it's only because other people died to make that possible. Be proud of that.